And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. A company town is a place where practically all the stores and housing are owned by one company that is also the main employer. On today's Open Connection, we open our archives to 2001 to discover what happened to a company town after everyone has left.
Kamano, a remote village on the north coast, southeast of Kitimat, was up in flames all summer, just like it was supposed to be. Close to 40 abandoned houses and buildings were used for unique live burn training exercises. Firefighters from all over British Columbia had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to participate in the Kamano Public Safety Initiative.
We were opening the town up for firefighters from all across the province to come in and get some practice in their trade. We are rotating firefighters through here on a 4-day basis. They're boated in and boated out from Kitimat. The first half day is when they come in is safety orientation, and then day 2, day 3, and half of day 4 is live fire evolutions.
Alcan and the BC Fire Commissioner's Office saw a chance to train BC's firefighters by allowing a systematic burning down of the community's homes and buildings.
We have firefighters from all levels of expertise across the province, career firefighters, volunteer firefighters, and they are all being exposed to live burn practice. The benefit of that, of course, is quite simply they don't get, in many cases, a lot of exposure to real live planned fires. Everything is in a crisis situation. Here it's almost a perfect world where we have all the staff that is necessary to run a real safe operation, and they can get exposure to live burns in real live situations. The houses, as we talked about earlier, are furnished from donations from a good chunk of the province: Vancouver, Prince Rupert, Terrace, Kitimat. So we're putting these houses in a state that you would, as close as we can to what you'd normally find in any city or town, for them to work in. The firefighters are given a preview of the house. They're also given a preview of where the fire is going to be. And then we have a fire setter set the fire, and then it unfolds like it normally would. There is a call in for the fire department to respond at a certain location, and the fire department arrives and does what a fire department normally does, is that they go through the process of extinguishing the fire, starting with the external examination, and then finally decisions are made as to how it would be best to approach the problem, and then they approach accordingly.
The Knowledge Network was on site documenting the training exercises, so the Office of the Fire Commissioner can share the lessons learned with public safety agencies throughout North America by presenting them with a video series for training purposes. The National Research Council was also in Kamano during the Fire Safety Initiative, collecting information and conducting tests.
We currently have some people on site now that are in the preparation stages of a whole pile of experiments, and all these experiments that they're doing lend themselves to fire-safe communities, in that what they're looking at is, you got to understand that fire investigation and fire suppression, all that goes hand in hand, but a lot of this lends itself to the fire prevention issue. And what they're doing is they're trying to work, as a result of what they discover here with their tests, they may identify that they have to make a code change, like a building code change, to improve the level of safety in a home. So this is the only opportunity that they would have to do that, short of building a facility from ground up. Whereas here, they renovate the homes virtually, but they have a shell to renovate. And so it's very cost effective for them. And again, with Alcan's support, I mean, they're providing us a place to live and a place to eat. And they're taking advantage of that as well. And we had other agencies that were going to come in, but like everybody else, finances and timing, some of them didn't work out, but some of them did. So it's been a very, very, very productive few months.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. Collecting accurate data is essential. It directly supports prevention strategy. The facts tell the story and provide the answers needed to reduce fire losses in community. Let us return to the archives with Bruce Cousins.
Firefighters, investigators, and scientists know the value of live burn training and what role it plays when understanding the science of fire suppression and extinguishment.
We've got a lot of technical data out here too. We've had engineers that we brought in personally, and heat probes, data loggers. We've measured temperatures at various different levels in the room. So we've walked out of here with a tremendous amount of data from a fire investigative standpoint that prior to now we read about, but we've never been able to collect that data ourselves and see it and understand it because we saw the actual fire occur.
Because of the way the original idea snowballed, Kamano has received more attention than it could accommodate. This is why the number of firefighters permitted to take part had to be limited.
The idea behind it is, A, we can only take so many people. So that means we will take 3 or 4 people from a fire department as they apply. And then the idea is that it will be train the trainer. They can take the knowledge that they acquire here and then they can take it back to their department and pass it on to their people. And our ultimate goal is quite simply to make firefighters more proficient and make communities safer over the long haul. And I firmly believe that we've accomplished that.
The Kamano Public Safety Initiative was carried out under strict regulatory and environmental controls. Now the area will be returned to its natural habitat. The feedback has been phenomenal. From the Office of the Fire Commissioner initiating the idea, the huge role Alcan has had in making this a reality, of course the support of former Kamano residents, to lifetime bonds that have been created between the firefighters.
The reason it has been so successful is because of the candidates themselves. They all want to be here and they all want to do this. So that makes it relatively easy to have a successful event.
What I'm getting out of it is about 5 years worth of experience in 2 days. We're getting to do all the different roles, which is amazing to do in such a short time. And the repetition is what helps you keep it for a long time. So this is a really, really good experience.
It's finding out your own limitations, and you're put into situations where you got to make split decisions, and you got to keep your eyes and ears open for the fellows you're in there with. So it gives you, it's an all-around training program that gets every aspect of firefighting in just a few days. So the experience you gain here is priceless, really.
A lot more knowledge, there's no doubt about that, but first and foremost, a lot of good people, a lot of good friends. So that's the number one thing, camaraderie with the other guys.
It's as close to reality as possible. The dangers are the same. The fire doesn't change just because you're in Kamano or Kitimat or Vancouver.
More than 800 firefighters were involved in the safety initiative. The experience they have taken home from Kamano will benefit BC families and communities for years to come.
We had a comment from one of the firefighters in Kitimat when I was coming back in on my second trip. And I says, yeah, well, I says, I'm getting a little tired, that's for sure. And he says, yes, and that was his comment. He says, you gotta remember how appreciative so many people in the fire service are for this event. So that kind of gets you motivated again and to get you going. And Alcan has been such a tremendous support too. I mean, this is their land, it's their property, and it's our project, but it's our project with their okay and support. They've just been wonderful. And we call it the Kamano legacy because it, quite frankly, will be a legacy.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. Stewart, BC and the neighboring community of Hyder, Alaska have always been close ties despite being divided by an international border for more than a century. In 2020, COVID-19 travel restrictions have left residents feeling disconnected for the first time, separating them from relatives, services, and even schools. Let us return to the archives with Mark Edson.
The town of Stewart has a long history of tapping into Mother Nature's resources. Early settlers arrived by boat and set up camps during the gold rush. But the population of residents has always fluctuated with the economy.
The population has gone up and down for years. It's always been a boom or bust town. And now there's about 500 people. I've been here for 15 years. And when I first came here, there was about 1,800 people. And things were busy. You could hardly find a place to live. You know, it was one of those kind of towns. And it's quieted right down.
With the decline of residents and the economy focused mainly on forestry and mining, the town tapped into different ways to stabilize its future.
Both mining and forestry have dropped right off, as it has everywhere in the province. So we're kind of on the outskirts of the problem. We feel the hurt first. So we're hoping that we can diversify our economy, and hence the filming has been great for our town.
The Stewart area has had many movies and commercials filmed there, such as The Thing and Leaving Normal, which has always been good for the economy.
We've had probably half of the inquiries for northern BC have been of this area for filming. So we have the diversity right from the glaciers to the ocean. You know, it's that diverse all in 5 minutes. So I think that has been the attraction.
Once word got out that another film could be shot in the area, the residents were excited.
The local people here supplied the photographs, they took the pictures, they went to the course, they understood the photo file, procedure, and they sent the information off. And the film industry is kind of a show me now, I want to know yesterday kind of thing. So everything was always a big panic. And last summer we had the opportunity to take a bunch of these photo files and send them away. And they took care of that. They did that. It was the local people that actually made the effort to step out there and make it happen. So
preparations were kicked into high gear for the movie crew's arrival once the town realized they in fact were coming.
When they announced that, okay, we're coming, well, everybody's like, wow, because they'd already been up and scoped it all out. We knew kind of what accommodations they needed, and we realized, it's only a 10-day program, but in preparation for that, we've had people here for a month already. So anything to bolster up our economy is great. And I think it lifts people's spirits as well. Something positive, something happening. And that's really what we need. We need to stop looking down and start looking up.
With the town increasing by roughly 1/3, accommodations was the biggest concern. The newest accommodation was freshly finished before the executives arrived. It was Ripley Creek, a 10-room lodge owned and partly built by local handyman Frank Hammermans.
Then he purchased across here an old warehouse, and he's fixing that up, and he's going to have that as a lodge. And he'll have rooms in there, and each room has its own characteristic. No room is identical. He's reached out to try and expand the history and draw from the past of the town, the mining and the logging, and so it's quite interesting, the whole concept that he's building on.
Although the focus on the economy has become wider in the past years, the influence of mining can still be seen even in the new lodge.
Some of the rooms that are in Ripley Creek Lodge, one of the lodges that's being brought to life because of the movie in such a hurry anyways. There's currently about 5 or 6 carpenters working on this particular project to get it up and running in 2 days. So the wood that Frank has chosen to use here is actually from the old Missouri mine site where the generator house was, and this was all fir that was in the ceiling of the building, and Frank recycled the wood and had a local carpenter here make it into the bed ends and the nightstands.
It was important for Hammermans to meld the past and present together in creating accommodations, and has another unique project on the go.
The Gunanoot House used to be an old whorehouse, actually, and it's named after Gunanoot, who was an outlaw, and the RCMP had chased him for years and years. So it has history, and Frank felt that very important to include. And so he's put it out here, and the view is just incredible, and he is building that into rooms and keeping as much of the authentic value as he can in it. So.
While Hammermans was busy restoring old houses to look new, The movie construction crew was doing just the opposite. The crew built a brand new boathouse at Bear Glacier and transformed it into an old, dilapidated building.
In the construction of the sites, the different sets they're doing on site, the local people have actually been involved in the construction of those sites. Lunches have been prepared by the local restaurants, of course accommodations as well at the local hotel. All those things have been happening. So, yeah, there's been quite a bit of extra work sparked on by the film. So it's been good for our community.
I think it's very positive. It's a good shot in the arm for the economy, which everybody needs right now. It puts Stewart in the forefront, which will help the tourism industry here, hopefully, and it's good for everybody, right from the gas station to the restaurants, to the grocery stores, to the hotels, to the bakery. It's good for everybody, and I think it'll be very positive.
A $50 million thriller starring big names like Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank was getting ready to be shot at Bear Glacier. The yachts the actors were staying on could be seen in the harbor.
The yacht club's been working diligently to clean everything up and make sure it's all just fine for them. So it's kind of unique, and that's one thing that the yacht club is working toward here as well, to bring in vessels to be fueled and serviced and build a community around the yacht club.
We haven't had too many big movie stars in my time. We had Robert Munch come up, but that wasn't big.
The film, called Insomnia, is due out sometime next spring, and look for scenes featuring Bear Glacier. Tourism is what the town of Stewart wants a chunk of and is hoping to cash in, starting with film productions.
Things are slow now, so it should help us quite a bit, and puts us in the forefront in the limelight for tourism, and that's our business right now, is tourism. Things are so slow in the mining and forestry industry, so we have to rely on that, and it's positive for us. We hope we can get more of them.
Edgson says the town has spent time beautifying the area, and it is getting noticed.
People that come here as tourists year after year, they come back this year and they're, wow, you guys are really cleaning things up and it looks great. So it gives you that initiative to carry on.
So the town of Stewart is continuing to rely on Mother Nature to help with the economy, but now in a different way, through tourism and its natural beauty.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
It was just over 2 centuries ago, in 1789, that the European powers began probing these waters. There was a lot of interest at first in the lands adjacent to the Douglas Channel. They thought they were the mythical Northwest Passage route between the Atlantic and Pacific could start in this area. In this final segment of Open Connection, let us return to the archives to witness the wonders of the Douglas Channel.
For the 6th year in a row, the Kitimat Charter Boat Association hosted over 50 people with disabilities for a trip down Douglas Channel. President Murray Bromley says the idea originated within the association itself.
Through the organization of the Kitimat Charter Boat Association, and then we got together and we wanted to do a community event, and we thought maybe taking the people with some disabilities, out on a fishing trip, as these are the group of people that does not experience the thrill of the channel, and we thought that this would be a great event.
I guess we were in with it in the Charter Boat Association, and we came up with it together. As a group. No, about 5-6 years.
Organizers felt this year went very well.
Very, very well. The weather even cooperated a little more this year than it did last year. It hasn't. Last year we were in a rainstorm, so things went well. Everybody managed to be able to stay, have their fill of food, enjoyed their trips, and it was really worth it, every minute of it.
Along with the 50 participants, over 30 volunteers were needed to help with everything from operating the boats to making lunch and just providing a helping hand.
I appreciate every one of them that comes out. From the person who says yes, they will come out and help push a wheelchair, even if it's only 10 or 15 feet, or just accompany someone on a boat trip, that is making it all worthwhile. To the people that cook and spend their mornings fishing on the boats and cooking. To all of these people, the only thing I can say is thank you very much.
Everyone involved understands what this event means.
You know, a lot of people are shut-ins, and they don't get a chance to go out, you know, that often. And an event like this, where people take time out of their days, you know, to do charters, and that is wonderful, you know. And I hope there's many more times like this.
Well, it's good to gives you pleasure in getting other people out that never get to see or do what we do and take for granted.
It's giving the handicapped an outing that they normally would not have available to them. The blind, the people in wheelchairs, where they need assistance getting up and down to a boat, on and off a boat, and this we provide to them.
The participants loved the event, even though it was a bit chilly with gusty winds, not to mention the fish weren't biting.
I thought it was excellent, you know, getting out in the water. I used to work in the water 25 years ago, but it's fun getting out there now. And, you know, this time of year, the green up time, where, you know, there's still such great scenery, you know, with snowing down on the mountains and that. And, you know, it was a lot of fun.
We're two older men, and we had a lot of fun fishing, and coming back on the boat was fun.
We got 6 crab, and I just finished eating one, and it's wonderful, you know.
Hundreds of drummers and dancers from both the Tsimshian and Niska nations took part in the special ceremonies last night. The reason for the gathering was to sign the Memorandum of Understanding, which spells out the terms for settling the land claims overlap between the two nations. Joe Gosnell is the president of the Niska Tribal Council.
To the chiefs and matriarchs of the Tsimshian Nation, we are very pleased that the work that we have been dealing with for so many years tonight has borne fruit. As I indicated in my language, as long as our river flows, we will remember this day that we have come to an agreement with you.
A special peace ceremony not seen for 2 centuries was performed.
Tawagami is a peace chant. It belongs to the same class as the lament. It is always sung after an encounter.
Let the word go out from this day forward that there is peace that exists between the Niska Nation and the Tsimshian Nation.
The special ceremonies took place in the middle of the 4-day Tsimshian Annual General Assembly. The assembly wraps up today. Andrea Hunter, First News, Prince Rupert.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but that connects from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.